What's up YouTube? Brian here, back again with another video, and today we're going to do an actual review video on this bad boy, the Shimano Curado 150 MGL. Now, I got this reel way back in January, and I did a video, and I got a lot of views. I'm going to link it right here, and it was kind of like an unboxing and impressions video, but I've actually had this reel on the water all summer, so I've had many months of this, of interacting with this reel and trying it out, and I got some thoughts and opinions and some overall recommendations on this reel. So first off, I want to go over a couple things that I like about this reel, and we're going to go over some of the cons, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. So first off, I've had it spooled with 15-pound fluorocarbon the entire time. I've had this reel mostly on a NRX 873 Plus, so I use that for a lot of Texas rigs, a lot of bottom contact, a lot of football jigging. So I've been doing a lot of different size football jigs with this, 3/8, half ounce, 3/4, that kind of thing. So I've had the experience of throwing some heavier stuff on this thing. A couple of things I like out of the gate. Number one, still love the fit and finish on this thing. This is just still a sick looking reel aesthetically with the dark green matte finish. And it's held up really well. This reel has not been babied. Been thrown in a rod locker, banging around on the top of my Skeeter, and it still looks brand new. So the finish has held up is what I'm trying to say. So that's great. Aesthetically, great. Held up really well. But so is my Curado K. So the Curado K, I beat the crap out of this reel too. And whatever Shimano is doing with the finish on these matte carbon graphite reels, it works great. So that being said, so things I like. Also, the big handle. So you get the big 100 millimeter handle, same handle that's on the Curado K. One thing that's interesting though is I was like, when I'm using this reel, I'm like, what's different? Something feels different about this reel to all the other Shimano reels I have. And I figured it out. What it is the amount of distance between the body and the handle on the 150 is bigger. Now, I don't know how you guys can see this, but like the gap, the handle sticks out further on this reel. And I don't know why. It's just something different on this than other Shimanos. Like I can kind of get my pinky finger right in here. There's a big gap there, and the handle kind of like is off of the body, like off the body a little wider than pretty much every other Shimano reel I have. So the other Shimano reels, like I can't get my pinky finger in there. There's no gap right there. Like in the same thing on the Metanium, there's like no gap. Like there's, can't get my pinky in there. The Bantam, same thing. Like the Bantam's really close. Like you can't. There's no gap there. But on the Curado, this handle sticks out a ways. Like there's a pretty good sizable gap right there. So that's the thing that's different. I'm like, why does this feel different? It's because the handle's really kind of sticking out a ways, and it's a big handle. So I kind of like that, to be honest. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. So anyway, I love the handle, love the big paddles, love the fit and finish. I love the size. This thing palms and is a lot smaller than the Curado K. This is the 200 size reel. This is the 150. It sits lower profile, palms nicer. Overall, aesthetically and ergonomically, this reel is a complete and utter winner. Now let's talk about a couple of the cons. Number one, the adjustment dial for the brake still sucks. Now the braking has been improved a bit because this has the newer spool with the 6 adjustment braking brakes. You can turn these on and off. I've been running it with 3 for most of the time, but I did click it up to 4 when I was doing some dock skipping. So the amount of adjustability you get with the new version of the MGL spool with the 6 brakes is awesome. But the adjustment dial still leaves something to be desired. So there's this little teeny dial right here. Now, to Shimano's credit, they did make a big improvement that they made the adjustment dial stick out a little bit. It's not flush with the side plate anymore. Like it sits flush with the side plate on the Curado K. When you run your finger over here, you can't even really feel the dial because it sits flush with the side plate. On the 150 MGL, they stuck it out a little bit. You guys can probably see that. So when it's on the rod and you put your finger down there, you can actually feel the dial and you can turn it. You don't have to like turn it over and get your fingernail and move it like with other ones. So anyway, but the legibility is terrible. So this does have little markings. It says like 1, 2, 3, 4. It is impossible to read. They use like really light white text. The text is really small. I have astigmatism, so I can't focus super well up close. And so when I'm on the water, I'm trying to go, is that a 2? Is that a 3? Because I never remember which way goes tighter or looser. So I'm always kind of looking at it. And so it sucks to read, especially if you're not vision If you're a little vision impaired like I am, this adjustment dial just sucks. It's not intuitive. There's no clicking or feedback. So when you turn it, you don't know how much you've turned it, that kind of thing. So anyway, not a great user experience, not compared to like the Daiwa reels, like the Zillion and the Steez have the big clicky dial, and the TATULA has the big clicky dial. That's a lot easier to adjust. So positives that you get more adjustability on the Infinity brake system with the 6 pegs. Downside, crappy, hard to use dial. Don't like it. Okay. The other thing that I have to address is the grease. So this particular reel was really undergreased out of the box. I noticed it the first couple times I was fishing with it, and I caught a fish, and I had a pretty, like, I had the brake, I had the drag set normally how I like it, and I set the hook, and it would, like, the line would come out going zzz, zzz, zzz. So it's kind of like a herky-jerky line pull coming off the spool, and that's a sign that there's something going on with the brake on this thing, the actual brake washer. It's either dry, it's usually dry. So I cranked the rest of the day fishing. I knew that was going to be a problem, so I cranked the drag all the way down. Then the next time I caught a fish, it's still even with the brake cranked down, it was kind of like there was no smooth release of the line like you expect. So I took it home, I broke this reel down, and it was really dry inside. The brake washer needed a full lube. Like, I cleaned it and I re-lubed the brake washer. The main gear in this thing was not lubed very well. The pinion had like no gear on it. Basically, I did a full maintenance on this reel after 1 or 2 trips using it. And since I've done that, the performance on this thing has been way better. Like, it's back, it's how it should be. It's perfect. So your mileage may vary on the grease condition inside these reels. This is just this particular. I'm sure it's not across all Curado 150s. These things are mass produced. Shimano has kind of historically been known for putting too much grease in reels because these things go to a lot of big box stores and they sit in warehouses for a long time. Not this one. This one was super dry. So I had to take it apart. I had to give it a full service. I had to lube it. And now since I've lubed it, the braking is back to normal. Like, drag comes off smooth, no problems. It actually performs like really, really well since I've it's actually performed really, really well since I've done maintenance on it. So I also like the thumb bar. The thumb bar, they don't have a groove in it anymore because like the Curado K has like a dip in the thumb bar. I like that this thumb bar on the 150 is flat and it sits really high. It's just really easy to get your thumb on. So love the thumb bar. Love the 6 braking pins. Love the aesthetics. Love the handle. Don't love the adjustment dial, and don't love that I had to crack this sucker open right away when I got it to actually add the correct amount of lube. If you guys are curious, I'm using the Daiwa Space Age grease. This is the grease that comes on all Daiwa reels from the factory. You can also buy it. It comes in this blue. This is great stuff. I use this on like all my reels. It's like my number one most, it's the only grease I use anymore. Okay, so that being said, feel-wise, this thing is very smooth out of the factory. And in fact, it feels a little hollow. What's interesting is because this reel is kind of so smooth, you don't really feel connected to the gears on this thing. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but when you're using this particular reel, like, you feel like you can't feel the gears. I mean, so to some people are going to love that. And then some people are going to be like, it's kind of interesting. It feels like a very hollow experience. I can't really put into words how I feel about this. It's totally different than like a Zillion or even the MGL's reels, like the Metaniums, because this is like a thinner, lighter material. You can really do feel some of the gearing going on. Anyway, point is, smooth, feels a little hollow because it feels like you're very disconnected from the gears. Some people are going to like that. Some people are not even going to notice or care. It's just something I kind of notice feeling a lot of these reels. The other thing too is the weight. The weight is nice. It's 6.5 ounces out of the box. Very, very lightweight reel. It should be for 150, but it is also one of the lightest reels in the entire Shimano line. So overall, I think this is a really great option at $200. I actually kind of like, other than dock skipping, I like this for every other application over a TATULA SV. I think this is a better looking reel. It's definitely more refined. You use a TATULA SV for an entire summer, you can shake it and it's like knocks and makes a bunch of noises and it really loosens up. The tolerances on the TATULA SVs are not great. This thing still feels very tight. Really, really good, solid from the factory. I like using this more. It palms better than the TATULA SV. This thing casts really well. When you get this thing dialed in, it casts almost as well as the Metanium. What's funny is I have a really hard time saying that this is a great buy at $400+ versus this thing at 200 bucks. This thing is pretty much the same weight, casts about as well. Some might say this thing looks maybe a little better if you're into the green versus the shiny silver. But I have a really hard time saying that you shouldn't buy 2 of these instead of getting 1 Metanium. I totally say go for the Curado 150s. I've casted half-ounce football jigs with both of these reels with the same 15-pound Seaguar and Vizix on the same rod, and the Curado sticks right with the Metanium. The Metanium does outcast it, but not by much. This thing is really good, especially when you get really dialed in with those 6 brakes, and you give it a maintenance and a lube job, and it works really well. So this is a great buy at 200 bucks. I'm going to leave some links in the description where you can pick these up. Omnia has a few in stock. They kind of come and go. Shimano has been terrible at getting any rods and reels into shops' hands all summer. They're terrible. Like, finding these things is tough. When they come in, you got to grab them, because when they're gone, you don't know when the heck these things are going to come back in stock. So anyway, that's my unbiased, unpro staffed review. A lot of the people who are making videos on these Shimano reels on YouTube are Shimano pro staff. I'd say when you Google Shimano Curado 150s and you look at them or even just search them on YouTube, 75% of the hits on this thing are from Shimano people, Shimano pro staff. I'm not on any pro staff. I'm not a Daiwa person. I'm not a Shimano person. I'm not a Luz person. I'm not a Megabass person. I have no affiliation. I'm just a fanboy enthusiast who makes videos sitting in his office. And I do like this. This is a very, very good, compelling reel at $200. I'd say it might actually be the king of $200 price point reels at the moment. So if you're thinking about buying one of these, definitely check it out. If you're a Shimano nerd and you're not using the Curado 150s, you're nuts. I actually do like this better than the Curado 200K, just because of how much better this feels in the hand. This thing's a boat anchor. It's tank. It sits really high. This thing is the exact right profile, and it makes up for it with the MGL spool and the nice 6-pin braking adjustment. So in reality, good reel. On a scale 1 to 10, it's definitely I give this thing like a good solid 8. You're not getting a bad reel for your $200 is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, please hit like and subscribe. If you're a fan of this reel or you got complaints or something you don't like about it, drop a comment down below. As usual, I will leave links in the description where you can pick these things up. Also follow me on Instagram at Punch Fishing. That's where I put a lot of my on the water content. I don't film when I'm out on the water, but I do make stuff on my phone. So anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.